So, continuing our journey to learn Python, let's now look at how to work with Python lists. So, let's jump to our computer and let's get started. So, I will fire up idle here, ideally, and let's get started here. So, let's make a new list and I'll call that my list, and let's put a few elements in here. I will so initially I'll do this manually, but then I'll show you some other ways. So let's create a new list and we'll put apple and banana in there. Now let's say we want to add another list, add another element to this list. The way we do that is a function called append. So in idle, what you can do, if you want to check, if you want to check out all the elements that all the functions that you can do on this list, what you can do is you can type the name of the object and just press dot and then press tab, or if you wait a bit, that will also work. So you can see all of these things. So all of these things are called functions. So these are you can think of them as as a mathematical function. So you take something and you apply a function to it. You can think of them as a little bit of an operator. So something that will work, so something that you can use to work with this list. So here we have append. So append just adds the element that you specify at the end of your current list. So if I put let's say peach in here, then if I print my list again, you can see that the list is updated with the latest element. Sorry. Oh, okay. So what this is good for? This is very useful when you are performing some operation, and whatever is the product of that operation, you want to put it to a list. So you want to collect them. Then we can do it like this. When we learn about iteration and for loops and while loops, so basically the looping structures, then we will see how this is used in a great deal. But right now this might seem very straightforward, but this is one of the most useful things that list has to offer. This is very useful. So this is how you can add to a list. What you can also do is join to list. So let's look at that. So let's make another list. So my list 2. Sorry, no, don't name your variables like that. Let's create our list as numbers. So it's from 0 to a specified number, and there is actually a Python function for that. So you type range and then you specify where you would like the range to stop. So if I put 10 in here, then I will get all the numbers from 0 to 9. So the number you put in here is not included. Very important. The range always starts at 0 and ends at n minus 1, where n is this number. So if I print num list, this gives me back a range object. But what we can do is cast that back to a list object. So basically if I say list num list, then I get the exact thing I am looking for. The reason that when I first printed num list, it gave me this has something to do with this range function being a generator and all that, but that is a bit more advanced of a concept, and we will learn of them later on if we continue. But just know that this you can treat this as a list more or less, and if you want to get a list out of it specifically, then just put it inside a list. So the way you would cast integer to a float or something like that, you can do that here. So you can just cast this num list object to a list, and that will give you the list that we're looking for. So now we have the list, but let's put this list in the num list. That's what we wanted anyway. idle doesn't let you type in previous lines, so just do that. And if we print num list now, we see we have our numbers. So now if we want to join these two lists, so we have our my list, which is a number of bunch of fruits, and then we have our num list, which is 0 through 9 numbers. So if we want to join these two lists, we can do it two ways. So you can just say that you can just use the add, like the plus sign, num list plus my list, and that will indeed give you the joined version of the two lists. And of course, if you put a variable number here, let's just say temp, then temp becomes that variable, that object, basically that lists with the joined version of two lists. There is actually a function that essentially does the exact same thing, and that is called extend. So you can also say num list dot extend and put your list that you want to join here, so my list, and that will essentially give you the same thing. Now I have to save, so let's say joined list or something. Okay. Okay, so this doesn't return anything. So we do not use the extend function like this. So the extend function essentially extends the num list. So if we check out num list now, you can see the num list has been extended, and I did that operation twice. So num list has been extended twice with my list. So you have two instances of my list in here. If we do that again, you will now see that if I check out num list now, then we have three instances of num list, and we can keep on doing this. So we can essentially extend a list by itself, and that will just put the entire list with itself. And now if we print num list, you can see that the entire thing has been repeated twice. So this entire collection is repeated here twice. Okay, so that is how you append an element to a list and extend or basically join two lists together. You can use the plus operator, or you can use the extend method. There is also another way to put an element in a list, and that is called insert. So let's get our so our num list is a bit big now. So let's get our my list back. So our my list, okay, this window needs to be a bit smaller. I'll do that. Okay, let's have it like that. So our my list have three elements in it now. So what append allows us to do is put something at the end of the list. But if we want to put something at a specified position, then we use insert. So we can say my list dot insert, and insert takes two arguments. So you have to first specify where you want to put it. So if I put 1, and then I put whatever I want to put it here. So let's say grape. So grape, and then I check out my list. You can see that grape has been added to the first position of, so this is index number 1 in the new list, right? So that is where grape is going to go. So let's try that one more time. Let's say what other fruit, cherry. and let's put it after banana. So that will be 0 1 0 1 2 3. So if we put a cherry in here, then that will become the third index, right? So if we put 3 in here, that is what that is what is going to happen, I think. So let's check out my list again, and sure enough we have cherry before peach. So if you want to put if you want to insert an element at a specified position, this is the method to use. By the way, I should also show you where you can find all of these things, and let's go to Firefox, and so if you want to work with a Python list objects, what you can do is just Google search. So you can say Python list functions, and there are there are a few websites that will come up, but this is the official one, docs.python.org. This is the official one. So but there are lots of others resources that also has the same stuff. So basically if you go here, this is the official documentation of Python, and here you can see all of these so we discussed append, extend and insert. So these are the first things that are there in this long list. So if you ever want to clarify, or if you have forgotten how to do this, or how the function works or something like that, just come here, and everything is explained here. And if this is a bit vague for you, then you can go for some of these other ones that are a bit more explained and so on. But yeah, I thought I'll just mention that. So with that, I think our discussion of adding elements to a list is done. So let's move on to some other functions.